let's start by going to the Show Me Something podcast.
Because I'm just in the point in my career where I just want to win. Like, I just want to win.
Dope.
And so
Dope.
I'm not going to put my ego and everything in front of things. And I know it is a business, but I think I'm just wired a little differently. I don't know. I just want to win. And so it was a little weird, but you know what?
That was Sophie Cunningham on the Show Me Something podcast. And the detail that matters most is when she said it. This was before the 2026 season had even tipped off. Months later, the Indiana Fever are riding a 4-game win streak, and the woman who said a fire had been lit under her is shooting the basketball like almost nobody in the history of this league. Stay with me because the numbers behind this run are hard to believe.
I think this is a great wake-up call to not get comfortable. I think it kind of lit a fire under my even more. At the end of the day, like, I'm coming back from a major, it was MCL. Like,
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so
Totally.
I feel good. I'm shooting the ball well. I'm mentally in a great spot.
So I just wanted to show you.
To understand why that fire matters, you have to rewind to the offseason. Cunningham didn't get the contract she'd been hoping for. With the league's collective bargaining negotiations throwing money and roster spots into question, she'd talked openly about wanting to plant roots in Indiana, and the deal she wanted never materialized. A few people online read those comments as ungrateful, even a little entitled. She pushed back on that directly. She's grateful to be there, and that was never the point. She'd been grinding her way back from a major injury, and with all of it swirling at once, she said the disappointment didn't discourage her, it lit a fire. If that pattern sounds familiar, think back to Caitlin Clark getting left off the 2024 Olympic roster and turning that snub into fuel. Same energy, different player. And the results are starting to look just as dangerous.
Where she left off in the game against Connecticut. Sophie Cunningham had 24 points in 24 minutes. And this is what I'm focusing in on. 6 of 7 from 3. Just knocking them down all over the place. And I saw where John Boylan, play-by-play announcer for the Indiana Fever, posted after the game, Sophie Cunningham is on one of the greatest shooting heaters in WNBA history.
That heater isn't just hot for Sophie Cunningham. It's historic for the entire league. The Fever's play-by-play announcer went digging after the game and found that only one player has ever strung together a better 2-game three-point stretch, Cara Lawson, now the head coach at Duke and a longtime presence in USA basketball, who knocked down 11 of 13 from deep, about 84%, all the way back in 2003. That's more than 2 decades. An entire generation of shooters came and went, and nobody had topped it, until Cunningham walked into this run. And the comparison almost tells the joke for you. There are teams across this league fighting just to get players to hit their free throws at a high clip, and Cunningham is doing it from a full step behind the three-point line.
So you see right here, you got 2 players at the top, 57.1%. Caitlin Chen and Teha Oblak, 57.1%. And you just scroll down and you find Sophie Cunningham at number 19, shooting 43.4% from the three-point line.
Now, 19th might not sound elite at first. Put it in context. This is a league with roughly 180 players on active rosters, and the names sitting at the very top of that three-point chart are riding the kind of percentages that tiny early season samples produce. They'll drift back toward Earth. 43.4 over a real body of work is the number that holds up. That's top 20 shooting in the best women's basketball league on the planet. And the question that really decides this story is simple. Is this just a hot couple of weeks, or is Sophie Cunningham a better shooter than she used to be? The answer is hiding in her career numbers, and once you line them up season by season, it gets a lot more interesting.
And her career. We got to talk about Caitlin Clark. This is what I say all the time when I'm watching these games, when I'm doing the live streams as well. The Indiana Fever gets good looks at the basket. You hear me use the word gravity quite a bit. There's a lot of gravity on this team when you think about the big 3. particularly Caitlin Clark. And of course, you got to watch Kelsey Mitchell. You got to keep your eye on Aaliyah Boston. But we see Caitlin Clark draw so many.
So follow the career arc season by season. When Cunningham broke into the league in 2019, she shot a little over 30% from three. The next year, it slid into the low 20s. Then in 2021, something clicked. She jumped to 41%, stayed right around 40 the following season, then cooled back into the 30s through 2023 and 2024. Solid role player numbers. Nothing that screamed history. Then watch the back end of the chart. In 2025, she changed teams for the first time in her career and landed in Indiana, and her percentage climbed to 43.2. This season, working back from injury, she's nudged it up again to 43.4. The two best three-point shooting years of her entire career are the 2 seasons she spent with the Fever. That is not a coincidence. And the biggest reason is the player every thread of this keeps coming back to, Caitlin Clark. Clark bends defenses out of shape. When the ball is in her hands, 2 and sometimes 3 defenders drift toward her, because the alternative is letting one of the most dangerous scorers in the sport go to work. All that collapsing attention leaves shooters open, and Clark sees them. She put up 14 assists in a single recent game and has been trading the league's assist lead back and forth all season long. So when Cunningham slides into a corner or lifts to the top of the arc, she isn't manufacturing that shot off the dribble. She's catching a pass from an elite passer with her feet already planted. Catch, rise, knock it down. That is the easiest version of Sophie Cunningham's job, and it's the version Indiana gets to run on a nightly basis. And the floor around her isn't a one-woman operation either. The Fever's core, Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, all command attention. Run a Clark and Boston pick and roll, and you've tied up 2 more defenders. Every ounce of gravity somewhere else on the floor becomes a sliver of daylight for a shooter standing still in the corner. Drop a career-best shooter into that environment, and 43% stops looking like a fluke and starts looking like the natural math of a perfect fit.
We have heard from Sophie and the players last season and this season that this is a great organization to be a part of. She wants to be there. This is where sports and culture connect. Culture matters. Locker room chemistry matters. Being where you want to be and being valued matters. And Sophie says, I like it so much here. I want to settle down here. I want to be here. And I'm at the place in my career.
So let's put the full picture together, because 3 different forces are stacking on top of one another here, and together they explain all of it. The first is motivation. Cunningham walked into this season carrying a chip, a contract that fell short of what she wanted. A few critics who misread her ambition as attitude and a long climb back from injury. Plenty of players let an offseason like that quietly deflate them. She went the other direction. She said it lit a fire, and the scoreboard is now backing up every syllable. That's the mental piece, and it's real, but motivation by itself doesn't make anyone shoot 43% from 3. The second force is fit, and this is the part casual fans tend to undervalue. Shooting is a skill, but elite shooting is also a product of the looks you get. The gap between a contested pull-up with a defender flying at your hand and a wide-open catch-and-shoot with your feet set is enormous. It can move a player's percentage by 10 or 15 points all on its own. In Indiana, Cunningham is living in that second world. Clark's passing and the gravity of the entire core mean the clean looks arrive on time, again and again. She's a career-best shooter playing in the best shooting situation of her career. At the precise moment, she's the most locked in she's ever been. Line all 3 of those up, and you get history. The third force is the one this whole show is really chasing, the human side. Cunningham has said it plainly. She wants to be in Indiana, not chasing the money, by her own admission, but because she feels valued, because she believes in the organization, because she wants to win, and she's convinced this is the place to do it. Her teammates have echoed it, that the locker room feels like family, that the culture is right. You won't find that on any leaderboard, but anyone who's ever done their best work somewhere they truly wanted to be knows exactly what it does. Belief and comfort show up in the margins, in the nerve to let a big shot fly, in the willingness to keep firing after a miss, in playing loose instead of tight. Being where you want to be tends to translate onto the floor, and with Cunningham, you can practically watch it happen in real time. Stack those three together: the fire, the fit, and the feeling of being home. And a two-game stretch that nobody had matched since 2003 stops looking like a random lightning strike. It starts looking like what happens when a good player finally gets everything she needs at the very same time. Now, the real question is whether it lasts. Shooting near 80% across 2 games isn't sustainable for anyone. Not for Cunningham, not for a single human being who's ever picked up a basketball. The percentages will cool off, but the foundation underneath the streak isn't going anywhere. Clark won't stop drawing defenders. The system won't stop generating open corners. And Cunningham, by every signal she's given, won't stop wanting to be exactly where she is. So even after the shooting settles, a top 23-point threat who fits this perfectly and wants to stay long-term is an enormous building block for a Fever team that's already winning games. That, right there, is where sports and culture truly collide, where a contract dispute, a personal chip, and a flawless basketball fit all crash into one of the best shooting stretches this league has produced in 20 years. So I want to hear from you. Is Sophie Cunningham a truly elevated, top-tier shooter now, a permanent piece of Indiana's championship window? Or is this a very good player simply riding the best situation of her career while the shots are falling? Drop where you land in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, where the numbers and the human story meet in the middle, you know what to do.